Hey, this is Jack Downs with a tutorial on the titles exercise. You'll be using these skills in your webcam editing also, with which I will have a separate instructions in class for you. But you should be able to do this just based on my instructions here. First of all, I'm assuming you already have your dancer's piece of video as instructed, and you have your folder structure as usual, and you've got your dancers ready to throw on the page, and there it is, by the way. In this exercise, and anytime we get into titles and other more detailed things, you really need to zoom in. Remember how to zoom? Edge of the scroll bar, grab it, and zoom. I'm going to zoom way in. In fact, I want to see the seconds. So I can see 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and so on. So the idea is we're going to create a black title screen at the start, which will last about 3 seconds, and it'll have a fade out. We'll also fade in the audio so it doesn't start so abruptly. Then we're going to have some text on the screen saying what this is, which will last about 3 seconds. Then at the very end, we're going to have a credit roll. So here we go. So where do we get this text stuff, right? So go to Media Generator. In Media Generator, if you go to All, I would like you to use Legacy Text. If you have trouble finding it there, go to Sony and you should find it there. If you don't find either place, and apparently in some installations you may not, I'll give you some other instructions later on. So under Legacy Text, we want the solid background. You take the solid background and drop it here. It doesn't matter which video track you drop it on as long as it's above your video. Remember, in video, the track on top wins. In audio, they all play together. So in video, the track on top wins. And we want this to win. We want this title to take over the video. This is what it looks like right now. It's showing you because my cursor was at this position roughly. It's going to show me on the preview window what it looks like. And right now it just says sample text. I'm going to select it all, Control A. I'm working down this little window that popped up here. Don't have this window, lose this window. I can close it up. I can always go back to the little green generated media button and click on it on the track and we'll bring it back up again. These windows are a little awkward, hard to use, but you'll get used to them. I'm going to select it all. I'm just going to type in dancers. Whoops. Can't spell today. And I'm going to put a break, and I'm going to write I'm going to write my name, and you're going to write your name. So this is like a title for the whole thing, but the sizes are not quite right. I'm going to go back up. I'm going to scroll up to dancers and select it all with a double click and make that 60 point. Where's 6? There's 60. And I'm going to go to Jack Downs. I'm going to make that, I think in your instructions, I say it's about 28 point. That would be nice. Variation in size. I could change capitalization also, make one of them all caps. I'm actually going to put an extra line there, break, and that's what my title will look like. Looks okay to me, so I'm going to close it up. No other work to do in this window. But there is some other work to do, because my title, I'll go back to the beginning, I'll zoom out a little bit, when it automatically comes in at 10 seconds. I see it's 10 seconds worth of stuff. I can select it and see down here I have 10 seconds. I don't want 10 seconds. I told you you want 3 seconds. Well, then I'm going to go to 3 seconds. Good. So that's 3 seconds. What else did I tell you? I tell you, well, look what happens right now. I'm going to use the preview window and we'll watch. I go along. There's the sound. See what it was, what happened? It goes abruptly. It goes abruptly from the title to the video with no fade in between, with no gentle transition. Let's make a gentle transition. I'll get my cursor out of the way. I'm going to use a fade offset. To do fade offsets, we grab the upper corner. We can do on either side. We're going to do a fade into the video. We're fading out of the title. And I'm start dragging to the left. You see this line it's making? It's also giving me a time. Sort of a time. It's actually frames because it goes to 20, 29, and then goes to 1. These 29 frames, 30 frames is actually 1 second. And that's where I want to be, a 1 second frame. Now that zoom area is going to look very different with different magnification. If my magnification is less, it's a very small zoom area. Magnification is more, it's a very big zoom area. That changes magnification, right? And I like to see the seconds from about there. And I also said I want you to fade the sound in. I'll just move this a little so you can see better, but when I grab here and fade, I'm fading out at the beginning of the audio. And again, I said to make it about 1 second, which would be about there. I mean, a couple of frames difference, it's not going to matter. So what have we done? Let's watch the preview. Make the preview bigger for a moment. And a lot bigger. Okay. I'll make sure our cursor's back at the beginning. Here it goes. Title and fade for 1 second. Again, listen, the sound comes up. Title and then fade for 1 second. Okay, good. Here we go. Make that smaller so we can see this area a little more. Okay, so I say in the instructions, after that slide, after that title slide and that fade, 2 to 3 seconds later, I want you to create text over video that says 4th of July Parade. So that would be right here, 1, 2, 2 seconds in, something like that. I'll put my cursor there so I know where I want to go. I'm going to get a different kind of text, default text, which again comes in with a set width, but look at the difference on this my preview window. It's transparent. Let's make it, I suggest we do around 30 point, we'll make it 24, and we're going to say, I said it says 4th of July Parade. It's going to be a lot smaller. Imagine this is what we call lower thirds, so make it about 28. I have some more things though. It's going to be on the video, so I have to make it a little more visible, make it pop out a little more. So I'm going to go to Effects. I'm going to put both the outline and the shadow on. I'm going to change the outline to black, which means I'm going to remove all the color altogether for the outline. So the outline is now black. And I'm going to change the placement. I'm watching my little preview window here. In fact, maybe I should make it bigger for you, right? As I do this, I can move this guy off the screen a little bit. I want to move this title down right in here in the lower third of the screen with a little bit of cushion top and bottom, right? So it's going to be right around that kid's head. It's okay it's on the kid's head. It's got a shadow and outlines. It'll pop out a little more. Yeah, it's only going to be on the screen for a little while. How do I do that? I can grab this placement window and I can move it down. I'm actually watching my preview screen more than I am watching this mock-up here, which is actually in a different aspect ratio than our video, which is a bit of a problem. I mean, not a problem, it's just a problem as far as using this screen. But it's better to use a preview window because I know exactly where it is on the video. And I like that position about there. So I'm going to close it up. And again, I tell you in the instructions to only make we only want this about 3 seconds long. That'd be like about what? Here? Oh, that's 2 seconds. 1 more second. Be about there. Look down here. Yes, that's about 3 seconds. Good. I got 3 seconds. I could have did a better job setting that up on my timeline to look at that too. So that's what it looks like, see, as it goes along. But I want to fade in and fade out. Again, you can use 1 second fades. So the truth is the video is only be on the screen about, what? 1 second fully. But with the fades, there's not much to read. You want to make sure people can read stuff at least about 2 times before it goes away. And with the fades and with 1 second, I think you have plenty of time there. So I'm going to go about there. And I'm doing 1 second fades again. I think it's good to make all the fades the same kind of time. Just kind of feeling the consistency. Let's watch on the screen here. Fades in and fades out. Good. All right, the last part is a little tricky, I'm afraid. I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to use a credit roll. Here's my credit rolls. Again, in my all section credit rolls. I'm going to use the top one, plain scrolling on black. By the way, in all these categories, if you want to go play with some others, try them out fine. But for the assignment, please try to use the ones I'm showing you. Feel free to experiment. That is a good idea. Okay, I'm going to drag this guy out here. Now, credit rolls are a little funky. In your instructions, I actually warn you about them a little bit. In fact, I'm going to close this one up first. And I tell you, I want it to be on the screen about 5 seconds. So that would be from here about 10. Maybe 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. It'll be right about the end of our video at the moment. So I think the best thing to do is first close the credit roll up from the right-hand side to the length that you want. I'm going to close mine to about 5 seconds. I can select it and see it is, oh gosh, it's exactly 5 seconds. It doesn't have to be exactly, that's close enough. I do want it to end wherever it is right now. I want it to afterwards, after I close it up, to end at the same point that my video ends, okay? Ends at the same point. Good, because I want the music to go on underneath the whole time. I never want to have slides or other things happening and have dead air. I'd like to have sound going on behind it. Okay, so let's go back into it. Remember this button here? Now we've changed the length of this. And something has to happen. Credits are going to roll. Things are going to move. It has to know how long it has to accomplish this event. And to do that, since we've changed the length of the function, we have to do a match event length button. We click it and nothing seems to happen. But that's okay. That's all it had to do was match event length. And it says the duration now is 5 seconds. So we're all set. So what's going to happen in that length of time? Well, we're going to put some text in. I give you this text in the assignment. It's on the sheet here. First, let's say 4th of July parade. And the sub-item text is going to be Plattsburgh, which is where the parade was. And the item on the left, first we'll say, click in here, videographer. And what is the name? I'm the videographer. However, for editor, you are the editor. And we'll say, put your name here. But of course, you actually put your name there. We could add more of these if we had more things, but we don't. So we're just going to close it up. And again, we would like to fade it in for 1 second. That 1 second fade into it. And here's what it looks like. Fades in, and it scrolls up. And there we go. And did you see that the entire scroll started at the bottom and it finished at the moment that the video and that this function was done? That's because we changed the length, matched the length, and then put the stuff in. Let's watch it once more. Oops, I guess I'll watch the whole thing. There we go. There we go. Fade out, fade into the credits. Credits roll. The sound is still there, and the whole thing ends at the same time. Here's something that could go wrong. So that would be, you'd be done if you did all that. And you would just go ahead and render it. Well, you save as you go. Please save as you go. You would render, and then you would upload from your grading folder the properly rendered thing. Make sure you always look at it after you render. Make sure you got what you really want. Okay, here we go. What else could you do? What could go wrong, in other words? Well, imagine if you didn't actually close this from this end. You actually closed it over here a little bit. Well, you could have something that looked like this. Let's watch how this one looks. See, it doesn't start at the bottom. It starts in the middle, and then it loops around again. If it loops, if it starts in the wrong place, if it doesn't end properly, that is bad. How can you fix it? Oh, it's really hard. The best thing to do is just delete it. How? You could just delete this and then start over again. Go grab your credit roll again. Only other thing I wanted to tell you is what happens if you can't find legacy text either of these places, and you only have titles and text. Well, titles and text is a little different, but you could go ahead and take the sample text. You have to do something a little different. I'm going to get rid of this one. If I put my oops, come here. Sample text and drop it down here. And again, I'm going to change it afterwards to be only 3 seconds as I did before, right? But the thing is that it doesn't come in. There is no black background one, so you have to make the black background. And here's how you would do it. In some of these choices, it's a little more complicated. You shouldn't have to deal with this, but just in case, I'm going to go to Advanced. I'm going to go to Background. I'm going to have to move this whole window up to make it visible better. And when I do, it's going to want to grab places, but that's okay. Okay. And under the background, I'm going to click in this background area, and I'm going to change this color all to black. I'm sorry, not that one. That's the text color, background color. All to black. And then I'm going to close this up. Now I have a black background to work with. I would do the same sort of stuff I've done before. Go down to 3 seconds. My fonts are a little different now, though. I could change them to be the same, but I can use those fonts. Just make it look generally the same. And in this case, I have to work with the fonts here. In text color, I wouldn't change that. But I have to work on the fonts here, the size and the style and so on. And then I would have to go to location to move it around and move it around like this with this guy here. That's all a little different. These legacy works the way I showed you, and hopefully you can use it. Otherwise, use title and text if you change the background to black. Again, you shouldn't have to deal with that. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. I hope it helps.